Hi, it's Roberta with Quilt Crafters Corner. Today I'm going to do a block for you, and that block is called Broken Sugar Bowl. Now this is an older block, a traditional block, and it's got a really nice strong diagonal path to it. So let's take a look at Broken Sugar Bowl. So here is the block here, and as you can see, it's got this nice diagonal to it. So it makes a really nice quilt top. We have half square triangles and we have 4 patches. This is a 12.5 unfinished, 12-inch finished inside a quilt. So because it's 3 across and 3 down, we know that these are 4.5-inch squares. So I have 4.5-inch squares, and these are going to be my diagonals. So let's take a look at how we're going to make these 4.5 half-inch half square triangles and then the 4 patches. So the first thing that we have is, since I need 4.5-inch half square triangles, I will start with a 5 by 10. And what I'll do is I will mark the center of my block with my air erase pen, and what I'll do is I'll mark the center, top and bottom, and then what I'll do is I will mark my diagonal. I'm going to go from point to point. And then from point to the outside point. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this to my machine, and I'm going to start here, and I'm going to sew just a scant 1/4 inch off of this line, pivot, and then sew a scant 1/4 inch this way. Then I'll pivot again and come down this way, and then pivot the last time and go up this way. So let me go do that. Okay, so I have sewn a 1/4 inch off of the line that I had drawn on both sides. So what I'm first going to do is I'm going to cut this in half. So now I have 2 squares, and what I'll do now is I'll cut these from on the diagonal from point to point. There's 2. And there's 4. Now what I'll do is I'll take this to the iron, and I will press to the darker fabric, just like that. And just like that. So let me take these over to the iron, and I'll give them a good press. Okay, so here are my half square triangles, and what I need to do now is I need to square these up so that I know they're going to be 4.5 inches to go in this block. Remember what I said earlier about 3 across and 3 down? These are 4.5-inch blocks, so I know this needs to be squared up to 4.5 inches. Now I'm squaring these on the diagonal on my seam so that I know that when I put this into the block, that I'm going to have a nice 1/4 inch allowance here, here, and here, and here. Okay, as you can see, I've got my half square triangles in and they're done. So let's go on to the 4 patches. Now with the 4 patches, I have 2.5 inch strips, and I've cut them in half just so that they're not real long. I don't like to have them too long, because if you sew in one direction on this, they have a tendency to curve. So I like to keep mine shorter. So this will make 1.5 and this will make 1.5. So let me take it to the machine and I will sew my scant 1/4 inch seam. Okay, so here are my 2 for my 4 patches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one and I'm going to lay it right here on top of this one. And what I'm going to do then, I only have to cut once, and I'm going to cut a 2.5 inch strip. So there's one 4 patch. There's 2 and there's 3. So now I just need to take it to the machine and sew a scant 1/4 inch right here along the seam, and I'll be right back. Okay, here are my 4 patches. So now I have these nice 4 patches, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just twist to pop these seams open a little bit, and then when I take them to my iron, I can spin the seams. So these are going counterclockwise, and what I'll do, I'll press this really good, and what that does is it reduces the bulk in the center. It just makes it easier, especially when you're quilting. If your needle has to go through that, it just makes it easier to go through. So let me show you one more time. I just pop those seams, I just give it a little twist, and then it opens those seams up, and then it just lays really flat there in the center, and I'll take that to the iron and I will press it. So that's just a little tip, making it easier for your centers to reduce the bulk. So let me go press these and I'll be right back. Okay, so here are my 4 patches. Now the hardest thing to remember, or the most difficult part of this block, is making sure that you get your diagonals correct when you're placing your 4 patches. And so there are my 4 patches. Now I'm going to take this to the machine and I'm going to sew these together and put these rows together. So I just put them over there like that. And what I'll do is I'll take them to the machine and just sew them all together. Okay, now as you can see, I've sewn those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this side over onto them and take that to the machine and sew them. Okay? Okay, there are my 3 rows. So now I need to attach them together. And what I want to do is I want to nest my seams. So what I'll do is I will either iron these to the outside and these to the inside, or the other way around. Whatever is the easiest way to nest your seams so that you get nice points here where everything meets really nicely. So I will take this to the iron and I will iron them so that I have my nesting seams, and then I will sew them. Okay, and there is Broken Sugar Bowl. So I want to thank everybody for watching. And this pattern comes from Quilters Cash. It's free for you to print. It's free for you to use and print. So quilterscash.com is where this pattern came from. I want to thank everybody for watching. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. And I will see you again next time.